Beware of social workers. They are not there to help you. What, are you crazy? Oh, I got something to say about this. Let's get into it. Thank you, fake studio audience. Thank you so much. I love each and every one of you. You're very special. Thank you so much. You're too kind. Stop that. Stop that. This is Jim Kerr here from the Kerr Collective. How is everybody out there? I hope you're all doing well. Has anybody stopped to ask how you're doing today? Are you doing well? I hope so. You deserve to be doing great after everything that you're doing as social workers, service coordinators, front desk staff, case aides. Every one of you. You're doing an incredible job. Thank you so much for the work you do. You do make a difference. And this channel, this website, it's all for you. Hopefully this will become some place that you can stop by, check it out, see what's going on in the news, see what's going on that's a little more pertinent in the field of social work. Yeah, so let's take a look here. So this is the new site here. You can reach me. Please feel free to reach me at my Facebook page or my Twitter. I have a Spotify list that you guys can listen to. Tell me what you think of that. Tell me if you think there's anything on there that's good or something I can add. Of course, my YouTube and my LinkedIn account. If you want to get a hold of me that way, that's great. I'd love to chat with any of you. Yeah. Stop by. You can see what's going on in the news there from CBS News. And then we have some articles that I want to get to. So yeah, let's go down here. So this website has been kind of a challenge for me to figure out the algorithm. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to be a place that's a news site for social workers, so that it's a little more pertinent to where they're at. And I get some good stuff. Other times I get, look at this. Look at front page, Chadwick Boseman. Loved him in Black Panther. I think everybody loved him in Black Panther. But that shouldn't be the front page. That should be like a social works kind of story. So I have Chadwick Boseman and Dungeons and Dragons. That's great. Not what I'm trying to do, guys. Not what I'm trying to do. Not at all. This is what I want to look at right here. Why social workers are amazing. You're amazing. Hey, that bit at the beginning of the video here, forget that. Screw that. They don't know what they're talking about. Social workers are, in fact, amazing. You're amazing. So let's click on here. Oh, you know what? Before we get into that, I was over at the Toys R Us earlier today. Toys R Us is still open here where I'm at in Ohio, and I went in and everything's 50% off. Well, not everything. It's like 40 to 50% off now. And I was thinking about the first time that I can remember going into Toys R Us. And I bought a Skeletor there. I did. I bought a Skeletor action figure. from Masters of the Universe, the He-Man cartoon. And I'm looking around, because I'm getting kind of nostalgic, and I'm trying to find a Skeletor. Couldn't find a Skeletor. There's nothing. I don't even know if He-Man toys are even made anymore. But I did find a comic book I was interested in. It was this. It was this one. The Spider-Man Homecoming comic book. It was interesting because it had Toys R Us on there. Look at that. It's Jeffrey. Hi, Jeffrey. You're out of a job, Jeffrey. At the end of the month, you're gone. Now, this comic book didn't have a price on it, so I went to the price scanner, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, oh my gosh, $10. They wanted $10 for this comic book. And guys, this comic book, it was paltry. I think there were like 5 pages in it. It was nothing. I take it up to the cash register. It's like, hey, I think there's an error here. Can you see how much this comic book is? They scanned it. Sure enough, $10. I'm like, are you kidding me? This thing's so thin, it should be given out for free. I was like, well, the manager said, in fact, when Spider-Man Homecoming came out last summer, it was free. It was just a promotional thing. And now, because Jeffrey's on it and Toys R Us is on it, everybody wants it, he says. Everybody wants this comic book now. And because everybody wants it, we're going to charge you. Like, forget that. Left the store. Came back here. He's not kidding. He wasn't lying. Everybody wants this. Look at this. Can you see that? Look at that. Look at that. $59.95 on eBay. What? Guys, the world's nuts. The world's nuts. Anyway. Why social workers are amazing. Let's get into this. Oh, and it's written by, move it up here. Sherry Medney, thank you. Sherry, I'm guessing that you are an outstanding young lady. Thank you for this article. Heaps and heaps of blessings on you. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Alright, so obviously this article was written back in March, it looks like. So it's March is National Social Work Month. Isn't that nice that we have a National Social Work Month? Hey, when March comes around, don't you feel as social workers, service coordinators in the social service field, don't you feel especially loved on by your place of work? Don't they just lavish you with praise and goodwill? Remember that. Next March. Heaps of praise for you. So March is National Social Work Month, and it is important that we take the time to appreciate all that they do in our local communities on a daily basis. Yeah, on a daily basis. And I'm sure every one of you is thanked profusely every day. That's right. Anyway, there are more than 600,000 social workers in the United States. And actually, I think that number's actually gone. I don't think that's right. Sure, I think you need to look at that. Well, no, you're right. There are in fact more than 600,000, because it's actually closer to 700,000 social workers in the United States. So what do? Social workers are working in our schools with parents, teachers, administrators to make sure children reach their highest potential. And where social workers are on military bases and veteran centers, making sure that people get the assistance and benefits they need for themselves and their families. Social workers are in hospitals helping patients and their families through extremely difficult situations. And social workers advocate for vulnerable children with nowhere else to go. And they find them protection and comfort. Social workers are the largest group of mental health service providers and continuously lend support to those struggling with mental illness. I know something about that group of people right there. And social workers fight for our local communities and are actively pushing for programs, policies, and legislations that will benefit the most vulnerable in our society. And I definitely know that last category there. If you didn't know, I'm a 20-plus year veteran of social services, starting out, turn of the century here. Was a welfare caseworker. I worked for the welfare there, the turn of the century. Boy, do you remember? Any of you remember what it was like to be a welfare caseworker in the year 2000? That was 2 years after Bill Clinton and Congress passed, I think it was House Bill 408, which was welfare reform. And then, October of 2000, oh boy, what happened? That was the first wave of people that were supposed to get kicked off of welfare. Because in that 2 years, what welfare reform did was it provided 2 years of welfare for every taxpaying citizen. 2 years. You can use it however you want. You can use like 6 months of it here, 2 months of it there, but everybody has only 2 years of welfare money, or welfare benefits. Right? And so there was all kind of job program and jobs training from 98 till 2000, and then October of 2000, that was the magic month where the people that just, for whatever reason, there were all kinds of reasons. People couldn't find jobs. They needed the welfare. Well, anyway, lots of people were kicked off welfare, and it was just a dandy time to be a welfare caseworker. From there, I went and I worked with some homeless shelters. I started my work at homeless shelters, eventually working my way up to being a director of several homeless shelters, emergency winter homeless shelters here in Central Ohio. That was a blast. Staff was amazing. Can't say I loved every minute of it, but it was important work, and I really appreciated it. Went on to do some other things for a little bit longer, and we can get into that later. We got time, right? There's time. 20-year veteran in the social service field, so I feel you. I feel where you're at, folks. I appreciate you. I think what you do is in fact amazing. So let's go on. Let's go on. By the way, I'm using my Rocket Raccoon. See Rocket Raccoon there? From the Marvel movies. Yeah. So social workers have an incredibly stressful and exhausting job. Can I get an amen? It can be physically taxing and emotionally draining with long, odd hours. Did you know that? I bet you did. Very few people understand what it takes to be a social worker and do these incredible things on a daily basis without the reward of money or recognition. Well, no, we don't get a whole lot of money in social services, do we? We tend not to. A lot of times where we end up working isn't well funded. It's funded, but it's not, a lot of times it's not a government position. A lot of times we're in these these smaller nonprofits, and that makes a difference, doesn't it? You never know if the funding for your very job is going to be there in 1 or 2 years. You just never know. Always having to find grants, grant writing, all that. So why do we do it? Why do we do it? Why do we put up with all this? Alright. Well, here's Catherine Audette. Catherine, why do you do it? Article says, goes on to say, I decided to become a social worker to honor the life and legacy of my son, who lost his battle with cancer. Oh my goodness. At the age of 16 months old. Oh my gosh. Catherine, I'm so sorry. Specifically, I became a social worker in order to effectively advocate for those in our society who are most often overlooked, so that they might have a voice in order to influence our policymakers. Yeah. While my passion is advocating for children with special health needs, as a policy practitioner, I also have the opportunity to work on issues that improve the lives of marginalized and oppressed groups, such as the working poor and immigrant communities. God bless you, Catherine Audette. Thank you for the work you do, Catherine. I applaud you. Thank you so much. Working to help out the oppressed groups, working poor. The working poor, folks. You know, these are the folks that they work. They get up at 8 in the morning like everybody else to go out and do their job and participate in society and be good citizens. But at the end of the day, their paycheck sucks. Not a livable wage. For whatever reason. For whatever reason. The working poor. Well, let's move on to Jennifer. See, Jennifer Clements. I took a volunteer job at a domestic violence shelter. Oh, when I was an undergrad. The director had a social work degree, and I loved how she worked side by side with the families to make life changes. I wanted to be part of a profession that was so empowering, the opportunity to be part of individual lives, either one-on-one or in a group setting, to help them make changes that will impact them forever is one of the great privileges of being a social worker. And yes, it is. Jennifer, thank you so much. And working with people side by side on an individual or daily basis. I'm going to knock my camera right off. It's base there. Yeah. And here's Alexandra. Sari? Is that how you pronounce it? Alexandra says, simply put, I want to help others and have always had a calling to go into therapy. That's an interesting sentence. After all, my name, Alexandra, means helper of mankind. Oh, I didn't know that. You see, you learn things here at the Kerr Collective. Alexandra means helper of mankind. Great. One of my favorite psychologists, Carl Rogers, said, people are just as wonderful as sunsets if I can let them be. When I look at a sunset, I don't find myself saying, oh boy, this is a little frou-frou here, Alexandra. I don't find myself saying, soften the orange a bit in the right-hand corner. I don't try to control the sunset. I watch with awe as it unfolds. Well, that's good, Alexandra. Thank you for wanting to help others. It's been my experience that my clientele haven't been so much sunsets. All right, they're more. more like meteors crashing to the earth, and I'm watching with shock and horror as it unfolds. But Alexander, thank you for helping, and more than helping. We don't just help. I know we're people that want to help, but more times than not, that we're serving, aren't we? We're serving others, and every once in a while, we do help. We do help. We do help, but we're serving all the time. And lastly here, I think, lastly, is Kimberly. Kimberly Matthews. After practicing law for 20 years, I decided to pursue my MSW. Wow, Kimberly, 20 years of law, and then she switched over to MSW. Good grief! Thank you so much. To be able to make a meaningful difference in the lives of my clients. It's not funny. She was in law for 20 years, and thought for her to change careers is what would make meaningful difference in the lives of her clients. That's interesting. Complete client advocacy includes promoting social justice and helping to empower clients to make a meaningful difference in their own lives. Well, Kimberly, I applaud you too. Thank you so much for what you're doing. You are an asset to the field, I'm sure. So it is very clear that social workers do incredibly difficult jobs because they genuinely want to help those around them. They're truly making the world a better place, and it's our responsibility to take the time out of our day to thank them for all that they do. So I'm taking the time out of my day right now to say thank you for all that you are doing, and you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot. Thank you. I mean it. Well, folks, I've been here for 22 minutes now, so I'm going to wrap it up today. Hey, do me a favor before you go. Please subscribe to the channel. Let's power through this, guys. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm not going to be able to do that without your help. Also, while you're here, please click the bell icon that's right next to the subscription button. If you do that, you'll always know when something new on the channel has popped up. And guys, thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. I want to thank you for sticking with me through that very rough but very first episode of the Kerr Collective. Just for that, I have something special for you waiting for you at the end of this. Check it out. I'll see you next time.